Hello and welcome back. The tennis tussle has made the headlines while we should have been discussing India's Davis Cup victory over Uzbekistan. The controversy and the row between Mahesh Bhupathi and Leander Paes have made all the headlines. Joining us on the show is India's non-playing captain Mahesh Bhupathi, along with our consulting editor Boria Majumdar. First of all, Mahesh, welcome to India today. It's a great privilege to have you here. Absolute legend of Indian sport. First of all, before we go on to questions over Leander, first of all, let me congratulate you on your first victory as the captain of India's Davis Cup tie. The boys seemed ready. It was a commanding victory, isn't it?
Yeah, the boys played really well, especially since we had two debutants. So we're pretty excited. 4-1 over Uzbekistan was not expected, but boys played better than we expected.
Absolutely, Mahesh. Now, of course, we have to ask you about this row with Leander Paes. Now, we have got conversations between you and Leander Paes. Boria Majumdar has accessed those conversations, which we have been playing on our screens, and it shows that you have been in touch with Leander since February, and even early March. You told Leander what your preference for the tie would be. That is 3 singles guys against Uzbekistan. Why would you think then that India's star player Leander Paes, at the eve of the match, would come forward and question the selection?
Yeah, it wasn't just Leander. I mean, I spoke to all 6 or 7 boys who we were looking at having in the squad, and told them, very clearly that the decision for who's going to play on the team was, going to be a last-minute decision. And obviously, Leander being, the senior most member on the team, I had a detailed chat with him in Dubai, and then again on the phone on, giving him the option. If he was okay being the 6th, then by all means, his experience is invaluable to us. But if he wanted to wait for an opportunity where he was guaranteed a spot on the 4, I said, we respect that as well. And he said he's fine being the 6th in the 6th. And then when things came out as they did with Rohan being selected, obviously he said a lot of things which were not true. And from a captain's point of view, it was very disturbing, because a lot of the team for the first time, and we kind of put a media gag on them, as in don't read any newspapers, don't go to any social media network sites, so that they could put their head down and focus on trying and winning the tie for India.
Right, just one final question from me before I toss it to Boria Majumdar, consulting editor. Mahesh, my only question to you is, knowing you, of course I know the answer as well, but could you just, for our viewers, explain the criteria behind this selection? Could you assure our viewers that it was purely based on doing well for the country? And secondly, what was Leander's reaction when you told him that his selection in the Final Four isn't assured? He still came all the way from Mexico to join the team, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, people came from everywhere. Rohan Bopana came from Miami, Leander came from Mexico. Ram Kumar played in Mexico as well in the same tournament as Leander. So, everyone traveled to come to Davis Cup, and that's the beauty about Davis Cup. It brings all the guys who are out there in an individual sport together 3 times a year to play for their country. So, there is no one special as far as I'm concerned. There is no I in team, and, we need to always put our best foot forward to try and get that win.
All right, let me bring in Boria Majumdar, a consulting editor. Boria, go ahead.
Mahesh, for me, would you agree with me that one day before the tie, in fact, I called you and you said, I will not speak to you today, I will speak to you at the end of the tie, and I respect that. For me, it was about India. Do you think by saying what Lee did, one day before the tie, it was about showing disrespect towards the other players? Firstly, that claim about transparency falls flat based on these WhatsApp exchanges which I've got, because clearly he was in the know. Clearly he was in the know about not in the top 4. And then to say transparency was not there in selection is about attitude, is about discipline, and also about showing disrespect to the other players. Would you agree?
Absolutely. I mean, honestly, Boria, from a personal standpoint, I'm kind of used to it. I mean, it's been going on for a long time, and, obviously I've never kind of, the media obviously, is a bit snowed in when it comes to anything he says. But as a captain, it was a different kettle of fish. Obviously, I had to deal with so many different moving parts, and keeping the boys calm, keeping the boys relaxed, and, it's just way too much going on. I mean, the nerves when you're making the debut to play for India are immense, and I think finally making sure that they didn't look at any media or read any media was pretty helpful, because we kind of tried our best to shut them out.
This follow-up question, Mahesh, has to be, and Dr. Paes was with me in the last show, when I said that how can there be two yardsticks for two different players? Everybody was traveling from around the world, and you've given them a date, 2nd April. Everyone was there, Leander wasn't. Is this about discipline? Can you just turn up when you want to and then say, I have to be in the top team? Or is there now, as non-playing captain, you've laid down a structure, a set of rules, and it is about discipline and a team code?
No, there is a structure, and there is flexibility as well. I mean, we have to give Leander the obviously a little flexibility, because he played a final on Saturday in Mexico. But having said that, I mean, he could have easily taken a flight Sunday morning to be in Bangalore Monday night. But he got here Tuesday night. I mean, he knew fully well that I had a lot of factors in wanting to select the team, and to give me one session to realistically put him in the team of 4 was never going to happen.
Mahesh, 2 more questions from my end. One, when transparency is questioned, I mean, the claim was that you were not transparent, and these WhatsApp exchanges clearly show that there was as much transparency as there could have been. I mean, this is not about being personal, right? This has nothing to do with Mahesh Leander. It's about a non-playing captain picking the best team for the country.
Yeah, I mean, I've been accused of, using the post of captaincy to get my personal agenda out. First of all, I have no personal agenda. If I had a personal agenda, I would have told the AITA flat out when they asked me to be captain that I don't want him on the team. I reached out to him twice. I met him in Dubai, and as you can see from the transcript, I tried my best to do everything by the book, in my opinion. And after that, to be accused of, favoritism or, insulting him by making him fly out of Mexico is, for me, unacceptable.
Final question from my end, Mahesh. One, what is the way forward? Does this mean end of Leander Paes' Davis Cup career? Because obviously this will take the relationship to a further low. Or is there a reconciliation possible? What is the way forward for Indian tennis?
So Leander's personal relationship with me has nothing to do with his Davis Cup career, and it has never been. I mean, we've had a up and down relationship for the last 20 years, but we both played Davis Cup, and that doesn't really mean it's the end. But having said that, I've made myself clear on what my priorities are. If Yuki was not hurt, I'm not sure Rohan would have got a spot on this team. So I'm a big believer that the singles guys are able to carry the doubles burden depending on the opposition. So, we'll have to wait and see. I mean, next tie is 4 months away, so it's a long time.
Mahesh, Shobit here. I'll just come in a couple of questions from my end. Obviously, Yeah, Boria, go ahead. Finish your questions.
No, you go ahead, Shobit, no problem.
All right, Mahesh, just one question for our viewers. Just could you explain the double selection? Why was it that either Leander or Rohan had to be selected with Balaji? Aren't these two, Leander and Rohan, our best doubles team at the moment?
Yeah, but I needed 3 singles players going into the tie because, I had 2 debutants and, I couldn't risk with one of them getting injured over a long match on the first day. Then none of my doubles players can win me a singles match on day 3. So I was very clear that with that dynamic, I wanted to go into the tie with 3 singles players. Hence, that left, room for only 1 double spot.
All right. If anybody out there feels that there was a continuous acrimony between you two, well, if we go through these messages, it shows that you two shared a very good relationship. The language over here being used is of 2 very good friends. Undoubtedly, you guys have played together. You've won Grand Slams together. You've the record for the most number of Davis Cup continuous victories for doubles. But you have fallen out with you both have fallen out over the course of years. Gotten back together, played a lot of statements in the past as well. Could you just explain for our viewers at the moment, how's your equation with India's star tennis player at the moment?
No, we've always had a tremendous amount of respect for each other, obviously because of what we've been together on court and possibly off court as well. I just think that, unfortunately, the people advising him around what he should say are, not very kosher. because he knows the effort I put in to reach out to him in Dubai and the effort I put out to him with him to stay in touch while he was playing all the tournaments in the US, and I know who's been advising him, and obviously the advice is not right, and at some point we need to kind of take stock and make sure that when accusations are flung around, people are not kind of hurt badly.
Right, Mahesh, please do not take it in any wrong way, but I don't see Virat Kohli and Anil Kumble coming out and trading blows in public. I'm sure they have differences over a selection or whatnot, but why is it that Indian tennis is always in the news for all the wrong reasons?
I don't think we're always in the news for wrong reasons. I think I don't think you should generalize that with Indian tennis. I think it's been an ongoing saga for the last 15 years, and don't lie to me. You guys love it. Otherwise, you guys wouldn't be chasing me for these exclusives.
No. Certainly, we do not enjoy it. We really enjoyed when you were winning Grand Slams for India. But it's not just Leander, isn't it? Sometimes in the past as well, Leander and you have come out with statements which haven't been the best in public domain, especially we remember the selection saga in London Olympics as well. Just going ahead for the future, I mean, what's in store for Indian tennis? Can you both put this behind you and take Indian tennis forward? Can we expect to reach back to the world group?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, I'm the captain of the team. So, the focus is to get back into the world group. But, we've got 4.5 months to prepare for that. I think we're going to know Wednesday who we play. So, I think 6 weeks before the tie, I think is when we start discussing who is going to be on the 6-member squad. And, we'll take it one step at a time.
Absolutely. Boria Majumdar wants to come in. Boria, go ahead.
Mahesh, one final question. Leander was there. I saw him on day one sitting behind you when the first singles Ramkumar was playing. Was there any talk between you two on the eve of the tie after those accusations were made? Because clearly you were disturbed, the team was disturbed, but you showed tremendous restraint in holding back till the end of the tie. Was there any kind of conversation?
No, like I said, my only goal was to make sure the boys stayed relaxed, and we try and keep all the negativity away from the team dressing room, so that the goal was to win this match and get another shot at the world group.
Mahesh, I just request you to stay with us. We also spoke to Dr. Wes Paes a short while back. Let's quickly listen into that. We'll come back to you in 30 seconds.
Break this situation any further. They've both made their comments, and I would like to leave it at that. Having said that, Leander was not told earlier that he would not be picked. He was told very clearly it depends on form, and you have a good chance.
Right. My consulting editor Boria Majumdar is also live with us. Boria, you want to ask questions to Dr. Wes Paes?
Doc, these exchanges, and I mean, obviously we are going with what we have, and these exchanges are between Lee and Hesh. And according to these exchanges, Mahesh is very clearly saying that his pick is Bopes, and he's leaning towards Rohan in the faster courts of Bangalore. All I'm saying is, what was the need to rake up this controversy one day before the tie? What is the point? Because that, for me, perhaps is showing disrespect towards the other players. Would you say that the timing, at least in this case, Lee got it wrong? One day before the tie, Mahesh was there, he was there. Why go to the media?
Mahesh, without being accusatory, because one gives due respect to Mahesh as the team captain, as well as for what he's achieved, and one obviously respects Leander. So I think it's gone into an area of I said, he said, because as far as Leander is concerned, and what I've been told is that Mahesh went to the night there on Thursday night, on Wednesday night, the day before the draw, that he would.
Right, Mahesh, Dr. Wes Paes saying it's a question of he said, and he said it's your word against Leander, but he also says the final announcement, you made the final announcement about the team on Wednesday night, that's the eve of the tie. Is that regular practice, or would you have selected your team in advance?
No, I mean, like Uncle West said, he was right. I mean, I did make the announcement on Wednesday night to everybody on the team, including Rohan. I mean, that was what the message was given to them 6 weeks ago, that I want the flexibility to decide last minute. And I did. I mean, there was no surprises for anybody else. And, you know, as my chat with Leander says, you know, he knows, it clearly says that I want the flexibility to decide my team in the last minute. And that's exactly what I did.
Absolutely, it is the onus and the responsibility of the captain, isn't it, to select the team on the eve of any match. Boria Majumdar wants to come in. Boria, go ahead.
But Mahesh, you know, sort of hearing Doc there, I mean, to just hold on. I mean, for me, what is of essence is the timing. I mean, why would you on one day eve of the match, and this is for me crucial, one day eve of the match, two debutants, you keep talking about India and how important India is and getting India back. In fact, in that exchange, Leander talks about how important it is to get back to the world group. Why would you want to go to the media and rake up an unnecessary controversy? Do you think the timing is of essence here, and that's where the most problem lies?
You know, honestly, Boria, it's very uncomfortable for me to discuss this, you know, because Doc Paes knows how fond of him I am. And secondly, I've already said a couple of minutes ago, you know, when I met with Leander Wednesday night at about 11, after the official dinner, you know, he accepted the decision. Obviously, he was not thrilled about it, but he accepted it and he said good luck. And then I know of other people who've met with him after that, and I'm 100% sure it's the basis their advice he went to the media. So, as always, I will give Leander the benefit of the doubt, but obviously I needed to say something because I've been accused of using the office of the captain of India to kind of take out my personal agenda, which is never true. And if it was, then I would have never had those discussions with Leander in February or March to get him on board into the way I think I should, you know, the team should go forward.
Right. Anybody who knows about the record of Mahesh Bhupathi will never question his
Mahesh,
commitment towards India, isn't it, Boria? We know that Mahesh will always put India forward before any personal agenda, and Mahesh has clarified that. Mahesh, just one more comment. Of course, we know that probably the reason why the reaction came forward is because Leander is on the verge of a Davis Cup record. Would you, as a former teammate and now a captain, in the future hope that Leander gets to achieve that?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, why not? I mean, nobody deserves it more than him. He's played Davis Cup for 27 years, won some outlandish matches for us, which I've been part of as well. And if anyone deserves a record, he does. But, you know, like I've told my whole squad, I mean, we've got so much depth today, and unfortunately, you know, Leander is where Leander is at today. He has to, you know, fight his way for his spot on the team. Nothing can be taken for granted, and that's the way I like to run the team. You know, tomorrow Leander comes with a great result at the US Open, and you know, is playing better than everybody else and is fitter than everybody else. By all means.
Absolutely. The door is still open for Leander Paes, says non-playing captain Mahesh Bhupathi. We'd like to thank you, Mahesh, for coming forward and clarifying your position. And thanks for joining us on India Today. I request Boria Majumdar to stay with us because after this very short break, we'll be discussing all about IPL, where defending champions